So FNAF 2 movie just released and I watched it yesterday with my friends and I really enjoyed it. But I can totally understand why would people hate it. You see, I've been a FNAF fan since the first game came out, so this movie was a huge thing for me. But that doesn't mean that the movie was insanely good. So today I will be sharing my thoughts about the movie as a FNAF fan, but don't worry, I won't be glazing this film at all. Okay, maybe a little. Now just a heads up, this will be a spoiler review, so I'm going to spoil FNAF 1 and FNAF 2 just so I can talk freely about the movie. But if you want to hear my final thoughts of the movie spoiler free, so maybe I could help you to decide whether you want to watch it or not, just go to this timestamp. Now before I start talking about the movie, I just want to say that my reviews aren't the best. I don't know how to review at all, so I want to apologize beforehand if the review turns out to be shit. I'm really sorry, I'm trying my best to be a hardcore reviewer. So let's start with the story. The first thing you see is the original pizzeria in the 80s, and I gotta say, it looked so good, I really liked it. The place was full of parents and kids, party was going on I think, and there were two girls, Vanessa and Charlotte. Charlotte was the marionette in the games, and Vanessa is the Vanessa you know from the first movie. Now Charlotte spots William Afton trying to lure a kid in to kill him. She panics, so she goes to every adult in the place and nobody gives a fuck for some reason, I'm not sure why, but it's just the way it is I guess. So with nobody helping her, she decides to go in there alone, but Vanessa stops her, telling her not to go in because she knows how gruesome her father is. But Charlotte ignores her and goes anyways, chasing after William. So she finds them in the kitchen I think, and the kid is unconscious and William is sharpening or cleaning his knife, I'm not sure, but she sneaks around him and carries the child. William spots her, of course, so they start to run. Small chase scene happen. It appears that Charlotte has outrun William. So she reaches the main stage holding the kid and crying and screaming. It wasn't shown why at first until we saw 3 stab wounds on her back. So that means she didn't outrun William. William killed her. She dies and drops down into the puppet hands, leaving everybody shocked. Now I really liked the opening scene because the execution was just perfect. I liked how they showed more of the pizzeria comparing to the FNAF 1 because in FNAF 1 we only had the trainer tapes or whatever they're called, but I really wanted to see the animatronics play something just to get a look at them at the start of the movie. And also I kinda like the way she died in this film. Like, I get that it's a new way, unlike the video games. In the video games she dies in the parking lot, but here she gets killed by William Afton while the place is being occupied. You'd find it fun if you entered the film with a point of view that Scott is just experiencing with stuff he never really added to the games, but I still think that he needs some help with the story writing because he's not a movie story writer, and the story isn't that good in my opinion. I liked FNAF 1's story way more. Now 20 years later after the Charlotte incident, FNAF 1 happens and stuff, and now for some reason the whole town knows about Freddy Fazbear. That's because Mike's crazy aunt told all sorts of scary stories to the people in the town. Now for some reason they want to create a festival called the Faz Fest, and now I have some mixed reviews about the Faz Fest. I really liked it, but I also hated why I think it got added to the movie. I think they added it just so the toy animatronics can move around freely in the town without getting the police called on them or something like that. I feel that adding the Faz Fest for that reason made it way too easy for the animatronics to do anything. But here's the second problem. The animatronics didn't do shit. You'd think that they go on a rampage and kill everybody, but they barely killed one person. In my opinion, there was a little bit of action, which is disappointing because Mike in the trailer made me think that they destroyed the whole town. Now Abby goes to school, and in the school bus she talks about the stories that happened to her in Five Nights at Freddy's 1, and nobody seems to believe her but one kid. It's a little boy that was interested in Abby's stories and asked why don't she go to fix the animatronics, because Mike had lied to her and told her that the animatronics were just broken and they only needed to be fixed. I really liked that there was a friendship that was building between these two because he's the only one that believes that the animatronics were real and tried to kill Abby and Mike. But the disappointing thing about him is that he never shows up after the robot competition, which is sad because I wanted Abby to take him to the pizzeria and maybe he'd show interest in the animatronics, and he's just like Abby. Powers excluded. Now the first time we get to see the abandoned pizzeria is when the supernatural Ghostfaces wannabe go to check it out. The girl named Lisa tells them that the security guard named Mike gives them the okay. You think it's our Mike and he somehow got the job for another pizzeria for some reason, but no. It's another Mike. But by now I'm pretty sure you'll guess who's this Mike is. Anyways, they prepare for the recording and check out the place, and it looks really cool, not gonna lie. They show us the animatronics, how they're using the EMF readers and stuff like that, but Lisa keeps on hearing a music box, so she follows it, leading her to a gear room under the pizzeria, where there's a huge gift box in the middle of it. Lisa stops the music box, unleashing Charlotte, or the puppet. Lisa, terrified, she screams before getting bodied by the puppet, startling everyone in the building but Michael. After that, let the killings start. The crew gets killed one by one, but in my opinion, the FNAF 1 killings in the pizzeria was so much better. Michael doesn't do anything, he just looks at them getting brutally killed and then goes down to the puppet room, finding Lisa absorbed by the puppet or something like that. I'm not sure, it's hard to explain. She tries to kill him for some reason even though they looked like they were allies, but he closes the door on her and just runs out of the place. Now after that scene, that makes it like pretty obvious that that was Michael Afton, so there are two Mikes, not just Mike Schmidt acting that he's not an Afton. Now that Charlotte is awake, she begins to set up her plan to kill grown-ups, which is so dumb. I mean, I know grown-ups ignored her when she wanted to help that little kid, but William Afton is the one that killed you. Why are you going after grown-ups? And I understand they're changing the lore a bit for the movie, but still, in the games, the puppet protects the children, not vengeful. But let's say we go with the vengeful storyline for the puppet. At least give her a good motive. Go after William, or just be vengeful that William killed her like the first animatronics or something like that. Going after the grown-ups was just such a dumbass motive in my opinion. Now let's talk about Vanessa a bit. She hallucinates and gets nightmares about her father every day. And when she meets Mike at the restaurant, they're talking about their lives. She tells him about the nightmares and stuff. Mike just tells her to do what he did. Confront those memories. So after encountering a scary hallucination, she decides to do what Mike told her to do and does his method and goes to bed. She then wakes up in their old house, her father working on animatronics in his workshop, and she's scared. She meets William and stuff. He tells her she'll never escape him and stuff, but there's one particular thing in the dream sequence that made it one of the most enjoyable scenes in the movie in my opinion. And that's because I'm a FNAF fan. I mean, if a regular guy was just watching the movie, he wouldn't be as excited as I was. And that is Circus Baby showing up in the closet where Vanessa was hiding. I guarantee you nobody expected that, and that just tells us that we will have more parts in the future. Now while that was happening, Abby got a message in her toy box that Mike got her from the abandoned FNAF 1 building. And it was, "Abby, help us." Obviously, Abby thinking that these are her friends, she answers and goes to the pizzeria. After arriving and stuff, she finds Chica and the others in their new bodies, and she still thinks that they were her old friends. And they talk now, but to be honest, Chica overshadowed them. And I'll get to why a bit later. So the animatronics help Abby to pull the mini Chica so they can gain her trust, and so she could participate in the robotics contest. Next day, Vanessa visits Mike and Abby tells her about how Chica helped her to create this mini robot. Vanessa, as always, suspects that something is happening and already knows that Charlotte is behind all of this. So she decides to get Mike's attention and wants to talk to him, but Mike clearly doesn't want to do anything with Fazbear Pizza again. So he tells her to go away right now, he's not going to talk about Freddy's, and he takes Abby to the robotics competition. So then Mike takes her to the competition, then tells her he's going somewhere, he's gonna be there before the competition starts. So he goes to visit a man called Henry. But you wouldn't know that if you didn't know the lore and didn't know how Henry is connected to all of this. See, this is a thing that I really didn't like about the movie, is how it's just made for the fans. I mean, these movies could get new fans to play these games, but the problem is everything is so vague for the new watcher. And that literally happened to me. Like I said, I went out with my friends, and one of my friends doesn't really follow the lore that much, but wanted to go out with us still. There were quite some stuff he didn't understand, so I had to explain the lore to him. So I hope in FNAF 3 the lore becomes a bit friendly and everybody could understand what's going on. You don't have to be a FNAF fan to understand. Anyways, in the robotics competition, that bitch-ass teacher destroys Abby's robot because he assumed that she wouldn't show up because she's too bad. So Abby runs out of the place crying and goes straight to the pizzeria to explain to Chica what was happening. And that worked in Charlotte's favor. You see, the same time Abby was there, Vanessa was there too, trying to calm down Charlotte and tell her that this is not the right thing to do and she should rest. Obviously that didn't work and she keeps Vanessa in a chokehold. While that was happening, Charlotte speaks through Chica to Abby to tell her to destroy this type of field that's stopping them from getting out of the pizzeria. Abby of course accepted because she still thinks that they are her friends and they want her to win the competition. So while Vanessa's getting choked, Charlotte demands her to give them the code. She refuses at first, but she chokes her so hard that she was about to die, so she just gives in and tells her. Then Charlotte talks through Chica to Abby and they free the animatronics. Chica and Abby go to the competition through a taxi, and guess who was the driver? The GOAT, the Shogun, Corey X Kenshin was the driver. This time I didn't expect it at all, to be honest. I thought it would be a one-time thing, but hey, he showed up again on the big screen, we're winning. Anyways, they come back there and the teacher is terrified because that's an absolute beast of a robot and tells Abby why did she come back. After a bit, he's alone in the hallway, so Chica takes that advantage and kills him in an office. And I kid you not, this is the only successful kill that these animatronics landed. It was really satisfying, not gonna lie, because the teacher was kind of a bit, but I really wanted more deaths outside the pizzeria and stuff. After that, Mike goes to the pizzeria because Henry told him to, and he finds Vanessa trapped in some sort of compartment. I forgot what it was. Then Vanessa explains what happened and stuff, and Michael gets really pissed. But Vanessa explains to him that they can track him through the computer, but it's gonna take some time. And that part was one of my favorite parts in the movie. They are able to track them, but they are far away in the city going to kill everybody. So Mike sits in the office and tells Vanessa to go save Abby and buy him some time while he tries to shut off the animatronics. And remember how FNAF 1 didn't have like any gameplay elements like the games and stuff like that? Well, FNAF 2 did, and was executed perfectly. I really liked how Vanessa was trying to stop them outside, and Mike is literally just playing FNAF 2 without the toy animatronics. It was so nice to see that we finally got some gameplay elements added into the movie. Now back to Vanessa, she tries to go to the animatronic locations as fast as possible, but Mangle is on top of her car. I really liked that sequence because Mangle is the perfect animatronic to be latching into a car stopping someone from saving the world, to be honest. But it miserably fails that it gets slammed at Freddy before he starts killing anybody. And speaking of Freddy and Bonnie, I now come back to talking about how Chica stole the spotlight. Now all these big names voicing Toy Bonnie and Toy Freddy, I was really excited to see MatPat talking as Toy Bonnie. But he got robbed. Freddy too. Bonnie deadass got like 2 or 3 lines and Freddy got 1 line. So Chica was talking all this time throughout the whole movie, but Bonnie and Freddy get 2 or 3 lines each? Corey X Kenshin got more lines than these two. Can you believe that? Corey X Kenshin, the guy that made a cameo, got more lines. It was really baffling, to be honest, because I wanted to hear the animatronics talk, but all we got is Chica talking for most of the movie and Freddy and Bonnie getting 2 lines each. And the worst part is that they sound good. I don't understand why they didn't give them more lines. At the end of the movie, Charlotte absorbs Abby or whatever happens. Again, I do not know what exactly happens. And Vanessa tries to stop her, but she fails. Michael comes in with the music box and saves Abby from Charlotte. But by then, the rest of the toy animatronics already arrive at the house and Michael Afton is with them. And here is where they actually reveal it's Michael Afton and it's Vanessa's brother. And Michael's character in this film isn't like the video games at all. It's like the minigame version of him where he killed his brother. He's cocky and he's evil and he's with his father this time. He's not opposing him. Michael approaches Vanessa telling her that she should join the Afton family again and save her father and stuff, but she refuses. Michael gets mad and gives up and tells the toy animatronics to kill them. But that's where the most epic thing happened in the movie. You see, before getting the toy box to save Abby, he went to the old pizzeria telling the FNAF animatronics to help him because Abby is in danger, but he doesn't get any reply. But now, when they were about to get killed by the toy animatronics, the FNAF 1 animatronics come in the most badass way and kill the toy animatronics. Massacre. It's funny because I literally predicted that like in the middle of the movie for some reason. And I liked every bit of that scene because it was just absolute cinema. They bodied the toy animatronics in the coolest way possible and then they started to die because they also had that field around their pizzeria. Abby cries and stuff, but Golden Boy shows up, or Golden Freddy, sorry, and tells her that they are going to a better place now, and tells Mike that they can't keep him any longer now that they are dying or fading away. And they're obviously talking about Springtrap or William Afton. Michael takes Abby and leaves the house. Vanessa tries to come with them and Mike just says no, get the fuck out of here. After they leave, leaving Vanessa in the house alone, Charlotte takes advantage of that and takes over Vanessa. Just like that, the movie ends with a cliffhanger. I couldn't believe that this was the ending because it felt a bit rushed in some way. But regardless, it's been so long started playing, I don't care, it was a banger movie. But jokes aside, I really enjoyed this film because of the references and Easter eggs and just because it's FNAF. But I totally understand why would someone hate it. Now I'm going to just talk about some of the stuff that I liked and maybe didn't like that I didn't mention. Just to sum it up. The story was entertaining, not as good as the first movie. The first movie's story wasn't the best too, but it was better than the second movie. Like I said, it felt rushed in some places. The post-credit scenes and the hitting message was so amazing. And I'm really liking that the story is new. Like, I'm watching it from a perspective where Scott is just trying new stories for the FNAF universe, and I love that creativity. And there was also something that my friend mentioned, which I really agree with, is that how they're implying the gore and not showing it. You can see that they're implying how somebody got their head ripped off or something like that, for example, but they do not show it whatsoever. I mean, I don't think they're gonna change that anytime soon just to make it R15 or PG-15 or whatever it's called. But I really wanted to see some kind of gore in the film, not in a psychotic way, but I wanted to see how the animatronics killed them. So my final thoughts are that I really enjoyed the movie, it was really entertaining, and I really had fun watching it. And definitely a huge part of me having so much fun is the fact that I've been a FNAF fan for so long. So my overall rating is an 8 out of 10. And my conclusion to that is that if you're a huge FNAF fan, you'd probably rate this as high as I rated it or even higher. But if you're just a normal person that wanted to watch a horror movie, you'd probably give it a 6, a 7, a 4, or a 5. And that's completely understandable. I could see why you would rate it really low or really high or just in the middle. So that's my review for Five Nights at Freddy's 2. I hope you guys liked it, and I apologize if it was shit again. I don't know how to review. This is my first review ever, like an actual review. So if you have any criticisms, feel free to comment them, and if you have any tips, also feel free to comment them. And thank you for watching. And all I want to say now is, FNAF 2 was fucking amazing!